let's go to Kayleigh Mcenany. Kayleigh is the former communications director for the Republican National Committee. She is now the press secretary for Trump 2020 re-elect campaign. Hey, Kayleigh, great to have you back.
Hey, John, great to join you.
Kayleigh, what a debacle for the Democrats yesterday. What a disaster. Now they're running around trying to salvage this. I tell you what the fake news is. So I'm going to El Paso right after the show's over. I'm in Norfolk, Virginia today, right? Headline, Virginia Pot, right? Talk about fake news. Headline is Mueller disputes Trump's claims. That was the headline of yesterday? That was like one sentence out of 9 hours. That's what you call fake news.
Gosh, that's amazing. When you have David Axelrod, Obama's former top campaign guy, saying, this is painful, so painful. When you have ABC News saying impeachment is over, when you have CNN anchors saying this was a disaster, and then the local headline reads what you just read, that it disputed Donald Trump's claims. I mean, that is appalling, and that certainly is fake news. When even Democrats, other than the delusional ones in Congress, are willing to admit this went very poorly, and it's certainly did not help any case for impeachment or case to take down President Trump.
So yesterday should end this whole collusion, obstruction, impeachment, this Russia thing that has been jammed down our throat for 3 years. Did yesterday finally put this to an end, Kayleigh?
I wish I could say yes, but Democrats are just that delusional that I think the answer is no. I mean, when I watched their press conference later on in the day with Pelosi and Nadler and others, they were already talking about, and it wasn't in this press conference, it was actually another lawmaker right before, who said, we're talking about bringing new witnesses. We actually need to talk to the people who Mueller referenced, who he cites throughout the report. So this isn't over for them. In fact, they want to bring more witnesses onto the Hill to talk about obstruction and collusion that doesn't exist. I mean, they live in a land of fairy tales. They live in a fact-free world of conspiracy theories, and the American people, fortunately, do not and see right through it.
Unbelievable what happened yesterday. Also, I want to get to another topic, Kayleigh. The president had a victory. The administration has a victory earlier in the day. A judge in Washington, D.C., upholding the president's initiative to change, or actually to enforce the asylum law, which is saying you have to claim asylum in the first country you get to, not 5 countries later. So if you go from Guatemala to Mexico, you want asylum, you have to do it with the Mexican government. So they get a victory, the judge in Washington, D.C., and then another person, a group, sues the president. They shop it to the Ninth Circuit, and some judge in San Francisco is able to do a stay. So you got one judge stopping the whole thing in the United States. Where are we going with this? Where you can get one judge to overturn all the other judges.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, these federal judges who are liberal, who are appointed by Obama and Clinton and other Democrats, think that they've become mini legislators. I mean, we saw it in the wake of the president's it was a temporary travel pause on immigration from terror hotbed countries. What Democrats call a Muslim ban, it was nothing of the sort. You saw a single federal judge strike that down out of Alaska, only to be completely overturned then by the Supreme Court, with even Democrat or liberal judges, I should say, saying, no, this is not the way to do it, upholding the president's temporary travel pause. But nevertheless, you have individual unilateral federal judges across the nation trying to act as legislators, taking down the president's agenda. It's completely wrong, certainly not what the framers intended.
Kayleigh, how does this affect the Trump campaign now going forward?
Yeah, I think how it affects us is we say to the American people, we can't afford the radical policies of the left. President Trump is doing everything he can, and still along the way, he has some federal judges striking him down, only to be rebuked later. But we cannot allow the left to win, because when the American people are polled, they say that they do not want open borders, that they do want border security, that they want a safe immigration system. And now immigration is in the top polling issue of Gallup for all Americans, hitting nearly 30%. the highest ever in recorded history. So the American people care about immigration. And meanwhile, you have the left raising their hand for free health care for illegal immigrants, decriminalizing border crossings, tearing down existing barriers, and completely open borders and lawlessness. So what we do next is tell the American people we cannot afford the open borders agenda of the left. And the left doesn't realize they're really on the wrong side of this issue.
Well, the fact that you've got one judge overturning other judges is mind-boggling. I mean, the president's initiative is well within the law, and that's why the first judge that it went to in Washington, D.C., who was not a Trump appointee by any means, a Clinton appointee, upheld it because, I mean, they're just following the law. But you get these activist judges that don't do this. Okay, I know you got to roll. I just want to get your comment on one other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado State University yesterday. This is it's almost sometimes I read you I cover the news and what's going on, and it seems sometimes like I'm in some kind of an alternative universe. So in Colorado Springs, Colorado State University comes out with their language guide, right? The things you can and can't say as a student. And they ban the use of the word America because they say that saying you're an American or using the word America is not inclusive and disrespectful to the many other cultures that are there in the country, in the United States, that are not American. So Colorado State bans the word in their language guide. They ban America and American. It's like I'm reading this out of The Onion.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you cannot put the flag on your shoe. You can't stand for the anthem, and now apparently you can't say the word America. I mean, that's appalling. And it's one thing, John, to have radical academics doing this, but we got to keep radical ideas in the faculty lounge. It's another thing when you see radicals in Congress with these same views seeking to take power and even have their radical views take over the presidency. I mean, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, I'm sure they'd love this idea out at Colorado. I'm sure it's something they're totally on board with, given their anti-American views. And it's very dangerous when that's in our universities and now it's in the halls of Congress. It's very scary. We're losing this country.
Well, hopefully we can get that back. Kayleigh Mcenany, the press secretary for the president's re-election campaign, Trump 2020. Thanks for being with us.
No problem. Thanks so much for having me.